So you want more details on the crucifixion and the resurrection? Hey guys, it's John here. I have a long question that came in. So let me just read what they wrote. Thank you, and I have a question. Because the death and resurrection of Jeshua made such a great impression on me, I wonder about the details. Maybe you can clarify. When you said you and some others carried him from the cross to the grave, from another angle than the one you visited the grave in this lifetime, did that mean you had to carry him down the steep hill? Do you have a stretcher to carry him? It must have been some very intense hours. Could you linger, or did you feel haunted by the soldier's presence to run away very, very soon? Thank you if you can say something about this. I also wondered if anybody had time to put flowers by his side. This comment is very, very personal to the person because they've spent the time focusing on the death of Jeshua. And Jeshua's point was not his death. Jeshua's death was a very tiny pinpoint of his life. And the resurrection was an absolute miracle, but it was a miracle in regards to something that he told all of us we could do, that Hindu teachers have claimed they've been able to do. There is a understanding of Jeshua's teachings being empowerment of yourself, but oftentimes people will spend their time focusing on the horrific death and all of the things and feeling bad for him and all that, and they're not being very present. They're not being here living his teachings. And that, when you're focused in the past, as Robin Williams once said, keep looking back when you're trying to go forward, you'll just run into a tree. It's the same situation. People get very in depth. That's one of the reasons why people ask me all the time why I'm not going and laying on a couch somewhere every week having more regressions, because that would be against everything he taught. Focusing on that time period, that past, that is not being created anymore, it's just past, makes no sense. It's the be here now, live in this present moment. I'll give you some details just because you seem to feel you want that, but I don't think you need that. In fact, I think you need to let it go. But let me dive in. Okay. The only memory I have of carrying him to the cross, there was 3 of us. I'm not even sure who the other 2 were. I know that I had his waist and his legs, and there was one on the other side and one in front of me. And so I had his waist and his legs. And he was sideways. His one arm was actually down. And we were carrying him, and we had to carry him down a hill, down steps even. And we got to a place of the tomb, and that's the last of that memory. There was, like I said, there was no stretcher. We did have to carry him down a hill. It was a very intense time, very emotional time. Could you linger, or did you feel haunted by? Don't have any memory of any of that, so I can't really go there. And flowers by his side, I don't have that memory either. It literally is just a matter of my memory is literally the traumatic moment of carrying his body. But I don't even like to think about that. And it's not because it was a painful moment, which it was. It's because that's not who he was. He was his teachings. He was his teachings, and that's what he brought to this world, is his teachings. So he lives on. He's always here. His resonance of love is always around. And focusing on the past, it negates what he's here about. He's not about death. He's not even about resurrection. He's about empowerment and the empowerment of the individual. So when I see one of these comments, and I get lots of them. Please don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to in any way, shape, or form say anything wrong with what you're doing, but it really does go against what he taught, because what he taught was to live in the firm I am present moment and be here loving. I leave you one commandment, love one another. He doesn't say, I leave you one commandment, pine for me for the rest of your life. He never says that. He says, I leave you this one commandment, love one another. Live in the world loving. Go out and do what he told us to do, and what he shared with us to do. Because that's the key, is just loving one another. And focusing on what happened to him in the past makes no sense if you're trying to love one another. So that's my thought on this. You guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. See ya. Bye.
Thank you so much for watching. The John of New channel is solely funded by your generous donations and purchases of private readings and merchandise. To help out, go to johnofnew.com or use the donation link in the description below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.